Alright, hello everybody. I'm here with Glen George. Glen's a bit of a legend. Briefly, he's been a member of AEVA for many years, and he, a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, he drove this vehicle right around Australia for a Guinness World Book record. Anyway, so I'm just going to interview Glen, find a little bit more about him. So, Glen, when was your first interest in electric vehicles?
Okay, I had a solar business in Cape Town, and one of my customers was Rod Dilke.
Oh yeah.
And I went down to Rod's to measure up for a system, around about 2007 maybe, something like that. And he had his little Mazda.
Alright, yeah.
And he said, come for a ride.
Yeah.
I was sold.
Yeah, cool.
So I thought, right, I want one of these.
Yeah.
And then I joined the AEVA, and I met Dave Wobblington.
Alright, yeah.
Put in a system for him.
Yeah.
And yes, so he was already building a car.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'm going to have a car.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to buy
Yeah.
or what to put it in. I wanted a classic car, an old one with no motor if I could find one. And anyway, as it happened, this came along. I saw it in the garage. Mm-hmm. They used to race the car. Mm-hmm. It was very light, very good brakes, but they stopped racing it. No engine, no gearbox, perfect.
Right.
So I just bought the rolling body. They delivered it to my place on a trailer.
Right.
And this would have been 2007.
Right.
2009, I retired. I sold my business. I had a solar business, but I had a partner. It didn't work out very well for me, so I sold it off to him. And I got this registered October 2009. And I used it for a couple of years, and I was a green loans assessor.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Green loan scheme.
Yeah.
And my idea was, because with the green loan scheme, all I had to do was punch in a postcode and they'd send me work.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll do this and I'll go around Australia.
Yeah.
In the car, just punch in the postcode. Anyway, 2009 green loan scheme stopped.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's it, all right, I won't do that. Then I was approached, Dave Wobblington was approached by the city of Fremantle, and they said they wanted to promote the circuit going around of Woodward. We went in 1925 in a Citroen from Fremantle, and they would sponsor me. Okay, that was great. They were excited. Anyway, that also fell through. Don't know why, but politics fell through. So by then, it had morphed into a circuit. It wasn't me just going around, it was going to be a circuit, you know, and like a trip. So anyway, I decided, okay, well, I'll do it myself, I'll fund it, but I'll try and find some sponsors. We found a few, not a huge amount of it, most of it I paid for, but that was okay, I had the fund. My sister said she'd like to be part of it, so I said, fine, I need somebody behind me carrying my tent and so on.
Yeah.
And that's basically how it went. I don't know whose idea was the Guinness World Records. It was mine or Dave Wobblington's. I think it might have been Dave's actually, but it didn't matter. I contacted Guinness World Records, paid for the license, and it would have been the longest journey by electric vehicle at that time.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, and the car was ready to go. We got another trailer full of batteries, as you know, from AEVA Works. And so I had two sets of cells, so I had 340 amps total.
Right.
And set off in August 2011, headed north. First stop I think was Geraldton, and it went like clockwork from there. What I'd done, Graeme, I'd contacted the Shires beforehand to say I'm coming through on this day.
Yeah.
So they were expecting me, which was really good. So everywhere I went, they either had some media for me or whatever, or a charging point, and things like that. So it was really, we were treated very well.
Yeah.
So everywhere we went, they knew we were coming, and it went like clockwork. And I arranged 240 Ks a day.
Yeah.
Not too much, you could have done more, but 240 was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it went like clockwork, no problem. I stayed a few days in Mackay, stayed a few days at Brisbane. I think I stayed 2 days in Sydney. So yes, I think the average distance would have been about 240 a day, I think.
Yeah.
And yes, so at the end of the time, we arrived on the day I said we would arrive. We actually could have been about a day early, but we waited to make sure that the media was there and the Department of Transport. So yes, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was going through some personal problems, and my logbook disappeared during that time, which we won't go into particularly, but I lost my logbook.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wasn't going to stay in Perth, so I turned around and drove back to Mackay straight away. So the actual trip was not 14,000, it was 20,000,
Right.
20,200.
Right.
The last bit I did without my sister, I just drove back. I got back to Mackay in December 2011.
Yeah.
That was the trip.
Yeah, and what an exciting trip that must have been. I know that you've since added the teardrop camper to the rig, and I remember bumping into you at the Canberra EV Festival.
That's correct, 2013. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So your spare battery pack was actually built into the camper.
Correct.
Yeah. That was actually quite a brilliant move.
Yeah, it was worked out very well. The only issue I had with that was, as you know, I have no gearbox.
Yeah.
So it was 670 kilograms.
Yeah.
So on some of the hills, I was very slow.
Yeah.
It always got up, but it was very slow.
Yeah.
And going down, well, I had to put electric brakes on the caravan because I couldn't stop it. As you know, you're freewheeling down.
Yeah.
And I really got really good front brakes.
I don't think there's too many teardrop campers at over 600 kilograms.
No, it was the batteries.
Yeah.
But I took it down to Tassie, and I was down there for over Christmas, and very successful. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, it was a very good looking rig, there's no problem there.
Yes, it was. Yes, got a lot of attention.
Yeah. So your background has always been in electronics or electrical?
No, I started when I was 16. My folks pulled me out of school because I was messing about. I was in grammar school, but I wasn't doing very well.
This is in South Africa?
No, this was in Wales.
Oh yeah.
And I became a gas fitter.
Oh yeah.
And I worked, when I first came to Australia in 2001, I worked as a gas fitter at AGL. I lived in Strathfield.
Yeah.
And I worked at the Mini around Sydney.
Yeah.
And then I went to New Guinea, and I worked as a plumber there
Oh, okay.
for 2 years. And
that would have been what, for a mining company or something like
no,
that?
I worked for the CDW, the Commonwealth Department of Works.
Oh yeah.
The New Guinea then was part of Australia,
Yep.
it was Australian territory, and they were building the infrastructure, university and things like that. I worked in the university there,
Yeah.
plumbing and drainage.
Yeah.
And so it was very exciting time in New Guinea then. It was really good times.
Yeah. And from there?
There, I went back to the UK. I was married then. I went back to the UK in '71, but I couldn't settle there. And I was coming back to Australia in '73, and friends said, "Oh, come and visit us in Cape Town. We're on the ship."
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, okay." Got to Cape Town, and I was offered a job, and I stayed.
Oh, okay.
I stayed there until '77, and then my marriage fell apart. And I got on the yacht and I sailed with 6 other friends on a ketch to South America, and basically a yachty for a year.
Okay, yeah.
And then I got back into South Africa around about '79, and I don't know what made me think of it, but anyway, I decided I was going to go into solar water heating.
Yeah.
I was a plumber, so it was easy. And I started.
But that would have been upcoming technology. People were very interested in solar water heating in those days,
It was a bit in South Africa for a lot of reasons. We had they had the sanctions there because of the apartheid.
Yeah.
And electricity, oil was very expensive and so on.
Yeah.
So what happened was that a lot of the retirement villages and old age homes, they call them, around the Cape, used to be coal-fired boilers. They'd gone to oil,
Yeah.
and they couldn't get the oil. So they were going back to electricity, but they went on solar.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. So I started a business called Solar Installations. I was going for a year and that went bust.
Okay.
But my supplier put me in touch with some people in Cape Town, and I joined them. I took a partnership, and we decided, and we started a company called Suntech.
Yeah.
And that was successful. We started manufacturing our own water heaters. And that was my start in the solar business. So it was 78, 79.
Cool. And so you went on to solar, when you came to Australia, you went on to solar there?
Yeah, I wanted to go into photovoltaics.
Yeah.
There's none happening in South Africa. Things have changed anyway in South Africa because of the change of government, Mandela coming out, etc. So I came to South Africa in 2001. I still had my gas ticket. I had to go to TAFE to get it upgraded, but I went to TAFE to get my solar PV accreditation, which I did, and my first solar system went in 2002.
Right.
Which is very early.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah,
It would have been very expensive when it
It was a ridiculous amount, thousands of dollars, and I think it was a kilowatt.
Yeah.
But I had to keep 3 jobs going, keep my office open, because I couldn't. There's no interest. It was too expensive.
Yeah.
I put in a few systems, but mostly it was really hard work.
Yeah.
And it didn't really take off until the Howard government promoted the $8,000 rebate.
Ah, right. Yeah.
And then it took off. Then it took off well. It got too much for me. I was like flat out for 7 days a week. So I took on a partner in 2006. It didn't work out very well, unfortunately. I was doing the work and he was doing the money.
Yeah.
But
you get that on the big jobs?
yeah. So anyway, I ended up 2007. 2009, I should say. I was 65, and I sold it out.
Yeah.
So that's been my interest in the solar business.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a pretty interesting life, sailing for a year or two. That would have been a lot of fun too. But again, that's another form of solar power in a way, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah. Now we're sitting in your car. It's a what year? It's a TFMG. What year?
It's a 1956 MG.
Yeah.
It's the last of the TFs. After this model became the Model A.
Yeah.
As I say, they used to race the car. It had a very good history around Australia racing this car.
Yeah.
I've seen photographs of it where we raced in New South Wales as well as WA.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are various engines in it. Not only an MG engine. I think there are a Toyota engine and various engines. It's been chopped around a lot.
Yeah.
I make a point of saying to people, I would never get a good standard TF and chop it out.
No.
But it was already chopped up before I got it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. So in your mind, you've repaired the vehicle, basically.
Yes, I've given it a new lease of life.
Yeah.
They'd stopped racing it. There was no engine in it. They didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I was able to buy it, just the rolling body.
Yeah.
Giving it a new lease of life.
Yeah. So I'm interviewing Glen George. We're at the 2019 EV Expo, put on by the Australian Electric Vehicle Association. Glen is a bit of a legend. He's driven this car around Australia and back to Queensland and all over the country. And for a home-built vehicle with a reasonably small range, that's actually a real credit. He actually drove this car from Mackay to Sydney for this show. That in itself is a fairly big task. The car is now fairly tired, so the range is fairly limited. The batteries are probably close to being expired. It's done quite a lot of miles on these batteries. So it's a real credit to George. And when you talk about pioneers in certain fields, Glen's name's up there as one of the pioneers. Without doing trips like that, you would find that you lose a little credibility. So this gives the movement of electric vehicles that credibility that these things can be done. That was done in the early days, for us, early days. I'd like to thank Glen for giving us this interview. And if we'll be posting this on the website, and so every member can now and in the future can come back and meet up with Glen and find out what the man was all about. So thank you very much, Glen.
Thank you, Graeme.
Hope you enjoy the show.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been an awesome show so far. We've got another whole day to go.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you, Graeme.
thank you.